Let's look at a 4K optical zoom, 6-hour battery life, multi-camera capable mobile live streaming camera. I'm Jason Hoffman. My goal is to help you have the confidence to just press go live. Let's look today at NearStream's VM46 offering. The VM33 has been out for a little while now. It's a 2K sensor. It has a 10x optical zoom with digital zoom. Past that, it has the 6400 milliamp hour battery that allows for 6 hours of battery life. But the VM46 appears to be the next advancement from the folks at NearStream. On the outside, the physical structure of each of these cameras are identical. They share a lot of common components. The 8 MEMS array microphone set across the top of this camera, identical between the both of them. They both have that 6400 milliamp hour battery, but the VM46 has a 4K sensor that allows us a better starting point when we get past that 10 times optical zoom. The only other difference I can find when comparing their specs is the VM46 allows for 60 frames per second as opposed to the VM33's 30 frames per second, which makes me think that maybe the VM46 has an advancement in its processing power as well, which is hugely important when we talk about recording and streaming with a 4K camera, because that takes a whole lot more punch from its processor than anything less than this does. I will tell you that this is being recorded to my iPad, and I know that that's not quite as high quality as recording to an SD card, but I've had some difficulty with the SD card I assigned to the VM46, and so this is the next best solution. We're at 4K 18 megabits per second using HEVC H.265 as opposed to H.264. Both of these cameras are capable of this. And when we see the VM33, we'll see it at a 2K 15 megabits per second with HEVC. So sitting here on my back porch, here's the VM46. No zoom whatsoever. I'm sitting close to the camera. I can almost touch it when I stretch my hand out here, so it's just a few feet away. And I have a remarkably deep, good color reproduction. That Texas flag, these bricks, this is true to color. It is a beautiful reproduction of what I'm actually sitting at. The VM33 with its 2K sensor, which now we're looking at, also has that same good quality. Now, the settings for both of these cameras, I'm talking to the VM33 right now, the settings for both of these cameras are identical. I have not changed anything one to the other. All of the exposure and white balance, all of the focus, all that is automatic. I've left my contrast, my saturation, my hue, all that at the standard 50% slider. It's right in the middle. Haven't changed anything there. And both of these are set on the filter for linear, which is, to me, the richest, looks the best kind of filter that they offer. It's what's default, but I like it the best. I've been through all of them, and it's my favorite. We'll switch back over to the VM46 to let you know that in this test, what I'm going to be doing is a distance test. We're going to go over to the ballpark and see a little bit of what we did there. We're going to walk out to the front yard, and we're going to do a 240 feet distance test. That's going to be a large softball field. That's going to be a large youth baseball field. It's not quite as big as a high school boys baseball field. Our softball field is 220 feet to center, 215 feet down the foul pole, but our baseball field is 370, I think, to center. So quite the difference there. But at 240 feet, we'll see how much of the digital zoom, how much of the digital advancement we need past the 10 times optical zoom to catch that over-the-shoulder shot that so many folks want on those smaller baseball fields. Can this VM46 deliver that shot for us? Does it have the reach to go 220, 240 feet and give us a good, clear picture from that distance? And we'll look at the church, a little bit of indoor For those of you who are church streamers and think this might be a good camera to put at the back of the church and it not be in view in front of the church, to be able to go ahead and get that camera out of the way, but punch into what's happening on the platform, is this 10 times optical plus a little bit of digital going to give you the different views that you want across your platform in your church. So on this distance test, we'll go no zoom. We'll start there. We're on the VM46, and we will be looking at what it looks like with no zoom, but outdoor, sunny conditions. Again, all of the settings are just like they come out of the box, and we're going to be taking this optical zoom to its fullest capacity as I go further out into the yard. And then we're going to go way past that to a full 240 feet, and we'll go 15 times zoom, and then 20 times zoom, and then 30 times zoom as we head out in that direction. This is the VM46. We'll go over to the VM33, and this is the comparison, one camera to the other. Again, VM33 has the 2K image, 2K sensor to give us our image, and the VM46 has the 4K sensor to give us our image. It's just so you can see the difference. A 2K sensor versus a 4K sensor. The price tag on that 2K sensor is going to be $400. I think there's a 10% off coupon right now. The price tag on that 4K sensor is going to be $700. Remember, both of these have a built-in 10 times optical zoom. There's no other lens to purchase. It's an all-in-one package, but you get to make the decision on which one of these is going to be better for you. So I'm going to scooch on out the yard a little bit, and we're going to go to 10 times optical zoom. So the VM46 at 10 times optical zoom. This is still the fullness of its sensor. It gives us everything that we can possibly have from a 4K sensor. It's just shooting it through a 10x optical lens. And so should be a wonderful picture at this distance. Now I'm probably about 75 feet from the camera. That's a good kind of across the diamond kind of shot. If I set this up on the third base dugout and I shot this across the picture to the first base area, I'm going to get a really good shot of either the pitcher, if that's where I choose to zoom to, or I'm going to get a good shot of what's happening at first base as well. So this 10 times zoom at this distance should give us a really good picture. And when we look at the VM33, we've got that 2K sensor, but it's still a really good shot because it's the fullness of a 2K sensor at a 10 times optical zoom. So we haven't lost anything yet. As I go further away, and I'm going to go to the next shady spot because it's more comfortable in the shade, before I stop, we'll flip back over to the 46 on the way out there, and you can see how we punch into 15 times on our zoom. Again, 15 times is going to go past that optical and into a little bit of digital, but that's okay because we start with a 4K sensor. We should have some play here and be able to still have a really good shot even at this distance out of this 4K sensor. So at 15 times zoom, we get this kind of full body picture from the VM46. Now I'm 140, 150 feet away from the camera at this point. So we've punched way far away from our source, and we're looking at a really good picture on the VM46. Now let's look at the VM33. We're going past that optical zoom into some of its digital, and there's not quite as much forgiveness on a 2K sensor as there is on a 4K sensor. So as we go past that 10 times, we're going to start seeing the image degrade a little bit faster than we do out of that 4K sensor. All right, 20. So as we head on out toward our 240-foot marker, we're going to go with a 20 times zoom. 20 times should give us still a lot of what we're looking for. It's not going to eat up all of our digital ability in the 46, but it is going to give us a decent shot this far away. So the VM46 gives me this kind of shot. I forgive the highway noise. It's going to be a little bit noisy. That's okay. The VM46 gives me this kind of shot at 20 times zoom. At 20 times zoom, the VM33 gives us this kind of shot. I'm recording this at a full 2K on the VM33, at a full 4K on the VM46. You may not be trying to fill up a big screen TV. You may just be trying to fill up your personal devices that your people are watching on, and this may be plenty good for a picture. So 30 times punched in the full 10 plus a whole lot more digital cropping, and this is what we get out of the VM46 and its 4K sensor. It's not the clear picture that we had when I was much closer to the camera at 0 zoom, but is it going to give us enough? We're well lit. We shouldn't have any issues with darkness and that kind of graininess. This is a good picture as far as what our lighting conditions would be for a mobile live stream outdoors. And looking at the VM33 punched into the 30th click on our slider, once again, you're seeing what kind of degradation we have from the picture and whether that's going to be too much to justify getting this far away for your shot. So as we come back into the more reasonable distances here, we pulled this back to a 10 times zoom, which is our maximum optical zoom on the VM33, just to remind you of how good the quality is when we stay within its optical zoom. So our 10 times zoom, even on the VM33, is going to be a wonderfully clear picture. If we switch back over to the 46 and pull that back into a 10 times zoom, then once again you can compare the two of them, 4K sensor, 2K sensor, but at the range of its optical zoom. Now as we pull them both back out to nothing, to no zoom, slide that slider all the way back over to the beginning. So the VM46 is going to give us a clear picture and then be able to allow us a little bit of grace when we begin to crop that picture. We begin to change it digitally because the sensor is so much more than the 2K sensor is. On the VM33, if we stay within the 10 times zoom, then we keep that great picture. We can go a little bit past it, but if we go much past it, we get a lot of image degradation. And so the VM46 is that natural next step for NearStream to take in providing what their customers need out of a longer range camera. Coming over to the church, we have an 80-foot sanctuary, and zooming the VM46 from 1 to 10 times optical zoom yields a wonderful pulpit shot. Works for any church this size to put that camera at the back.